just needed to hit go broadcast, I think. Oh, there we are. All right. I am back. Took me a little bit to get it right. But now I have it right. Okay, make sure everything is exactly to the liking. Yeah, everything is to the liking. I'm pretty sure sound is on. The liking. Yeah, I can hear it. There. All right. So I am getting ready for today's stream of readings. Let's see how we can do this. So this one, okay, so this stream is about manifesting. Manifesting is a good thing. Uh, oh, wow. Kind of, let's see if I can. I need to correct something. Misspelling. Yeah, I was up a little. I was like, ooh, let's clean this up a little. Okay, there we go. So now I think all one has to do to have the corrected title, just refresh. Mm, yes. Okay, good. Everything is refreshed. All right. There we go. Now it should look good. I think that's much better. All right, everything is on. Titles are spelled correctly. I don't know why somehow I found a really great rabbit hole and I fell into it. But I made it here. Like it's like waking up and you're still at the party. The party is still carrying on the next into the next morning. So you're waking up and you're still. That's my feeling right now. Like we're getting ready to. We're just kind of getting the day started, and see see what comes up. I am gonna be starting the day earlier. That means as will the stream start early as well. I think I should have put 3 a.m. opposed to 9. I think I'm supposed to come in so much more early than this. So I allowed my. That's the thing about having like control. Like I can keep a height, but then I can also control myself to come down. So I'm zenned out. This is my zen, peaceful, calm. So now I have to go back up. But all of that has to now. Well, these days it's intentional. And okay, so what's the method behind that? The method behind it is it's not the circumstances or our environment that shape us. It's our reaction to the events that we are experiencing or that's happening with us, to us, in our lives, in the present, in the moment. So our reaction to all of those things in the moment, that's what shape our lives. So, of course, if you teach me anything, I take it seriously and I always apply it to the psychic. So it always teaches me psychically. I take it literal and it teaches me psychically. So I took that and this is the results. Now I have to intentionally guide myself to where I want to the reaction that I want to give. But it should be overall. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a nice day. Oh wow! So it's not my imagination. So the retention is um, going up. So now I'm getting like my last one. People are visiting and they're staying over like well, okay. So I've had because I've had better days, where the retention is like 20 minutes, like 20, 19, 20 minutes. This one was more like 7 minutes. It's up to 7 minutes. I thought it was going to be less than that. So that's looking good. I'm okay. Like, if I would have gotten 7 minutes before I saw the 19, I would have been like, they're paying attention. So I know I'm not hating on 7 minutes. Hmm. But I am going to, of course, work to improve that. I wonder what kind of readings that we're going to have today. But I did figure that today would be a slower day. At least like within the hour. And things will. I just want to like take my time. Do not rush. Instructionally, I am present so far as instructions go. Okay. This is also a day where it feels like you gotta be in two places at once. So, 1 second. Let me check on. So, I'm gonna have the weirdest experience. I'm up 70% in my retention, and my retention is going up. So, it's strange. I thought it would be, I thought to myself it was going to be in reverse. So, retention, of course, is how long people are listening or watching you. So I still have to perfect my retention. It's all about presence, meaning, of course, for me, that's literal. So I literally have to be like, give the impression that I'm there all the time, which I'm very good at that. I'm very good at the illusion thing with time scales. Like people think, oh yeah, you never cut a break. It's like it's an illusion. It's your time zone. I'm very good. I understand that, but I'm very good at that for some reason. Um, and it also revolves around writing. So that's how I stay present is writing to people. Which is awesome. And also the retention, it's what they call it. It's based on that. So when people are engaging me, my writing, we're having conversation, all of that counts, including when they speak with me. So yeah, it's teaching me some things because it's more or less mirroring this. With the company, it's more focused to an area, a genre, which is perfect because it encouraged me to write. And then here, it's against infinite genre, and also mixed genre and uh, no specific genre. All of those infinite, by the way, all of them eat in every concept. But it's teaching me about looking at things perspectively. So I've gotten a little bit better, I think. Especially in like, I think the process of branding is getting a little better, in my opinion. But I agree. I do have a lot to learn. I now have broken the 100 mark, so I'm getting this. I'm in this space, and I'm getting the feeling like, so what's this 100 mark about? What is this about? So that's what I'm working on. I'm understanding. Okay, now that I have 100 videos under my belt, what does that even mean? I am here. I made it on time. So let's see. So what are we going to work on? There's got to be some things to work on. I'm trying to figure it out. I gotta see. Okay, what am I missing? I never put my work on the wall. I always keep it. I just keep it like in my tablets. I do have my work. But I just prefer. I just. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't like it. I'm not gonna put this on the. Nah, I'll just keep it in the tablet. I'm a little bit ahead today. I'm thinking it's Wednesday, but it's actually Tuesday. I've been a day. Okay, so ever since this week, I've been a day ahead. Okay, I'm starting to. The plane is landing. Everybody, we're now approaching planet Earth. I'm living in a day ahead. That tends to happen if I speak a lot about the future a lot, and I'm constantly, talking about what's to be with others. It puts me like in a space where it's like it's not so much that time is mixed. Time is very much still going, but it always puts me like this state of mind where I'm thinking it's the next. Well, it's like 24 hours ahead, for example. So I'm trying to do things that technically I was preparing to do for Wednesday. Then why am I just logged in here? Well, I kind of still needed to go live. I don't see the harm in going live. I really like how the video is coming along, and I definitely like how I have my little workspace here. Now you can see why I'm always looking this way. Well, I have a monitor. My monitor is right here. Nice little monitor. I can see everything. So it's like I'm looking at myself, but I'm looking at my work. So that's why. Dominique, hi. Hi. Sup? And good morning. And as a horse. 1 second. Hello? Thank you. It's a pleasure. Welcome. Good to speak with you. Long time no hear from you. That's me being funny. You see, I remember you. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Sure. Okay. You're right. Oh, okay, got you. That makes sense. Right. We need to look at today. Well, we know that we said we believe it's, you know, this week, but like you said, we believe it's after today. And of course, I believe it's after, well, the guides believe it's after today. I trust the guides. I believe it's after today after that. So, well, yeah, but let's look at this week and see how things are spinning off. Of course, I'm going to read your highest vibrations at the multitask here, but what I am looking at the calendar. So, what I could see in this regard is this: your situation is that, oh, activation. So, it's like the light switch now needed to be turned on. So, we're getting ready to turn on the light switch. That's where we're coming from. Yes, it's going soon to be, as you would say, activated, and we're moving with caution. So yes, it's very like a cautious place. Things can really come to fruition more or less. That's what's happening. Everything is I would say all the paperwork. That's what's going on, being drafted. All of draft is being what do you call it? Cemented, certified. It's like everything's becoming legitimate. The surprise, you're still gonna feel surprised. I'm getting the sense of Wednesday. I'm drawing to Wednesday. Wednesday no later than Thursday. It's like over the next couple of the days or the next 2 days for everything to be legitimized. We're on the timeline finally. Yes, you're gonna be working this week. Everything is binding this week. I'm drawn to Friday, but I believe that this means they said working a lot. I don't know. You do like to work a lot. They've got here. They literally said work a lot, working a lot. Also, you have real estate, so I mean you have stakes in this. You have area in this. So the space, that you would say the space I'm entering. Do I have it or not? Yes, yes, you do. Um, all the little things you're going to do as the position that fits the position, legit work. Okay, so let's look at the. So that's like even although we gave a time, I want to look at the psychic calendar anyway, because they just gave that information to me. They're so kind. Okay, so it seems to me that everything is meant to happen before Thursday. I'm getting that here now. Everything says Thursday, so it's like between now and Thursday. They said one because there's one more thing. There's only one thing more that needed to do for everything to manifest. So you're soon to receive the manifestation of the agreements and everything coming to fruition. This is of course they mentioned long term with your team. It's organized. You feel liberated. You feel fantastic. Your energies are up and you're on the go. Definitely. Okay, we have Venus here, so we know clearly we're already in the Taurus sign. Yes, it's supposed to happen, and well, we need it to happen this week, particularly this year. It's just saying confirming confirmation. They're showing me your little client, so you're supposed to meet him. All of this, yes, it's all coming together. So we say over the next 2 days by Thursday. That's our answer. Okay. Where you going to be working? You right there. You go. We want to get in the mindsets of I'm working. I'm off now. I've got my title. I'm in my role. Yes, we yes. Okay. Yes, that's right. So but because you're gonna be doing this in what do you call it in the reality in the 3D world. Yes. So when you're meeting your little gentleman, that's when you're legitimately going to have the ability to say you're now exactly where you have envisioned yourself to be, and you're living your life fully and complete and wholesomely. That's right. And you keep that in your mind's eye. Exactly where you're heading. This is yes, you're staying on the right path to where you're heading. That's right. No, this is the reading that is more of this part of the reading is prediction. What you're doing is counseling. So we don't counsel here. If it's a metaphysical spiritual teaching, we'll say, okay, let's try a process. But no, this is a prediction from the psychic. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, on time. So I stated in the past reading, I said you both are going to be leaving roughly around the same time. Like you're going to be off, and you're going to like your situation is heading towards as you're leaving towards to work with the family, the royal family. Right. Okay. So your son would be leaving to go, do well, go to the Navy. But I would say, well, to go do his thing. So yeah, right. So this is also giving us the time in which you're getting ready to go. So you're next. Okay. But congratulations to you and congratulations to your son. This is a wonderful start. Great achievement. Okay, we want to acknowledge that. By the way. Okay. Hmm. Beautiful. Good. Okay. Yes. Well, so we know. Well, first of all, before I even go into this, I'm going to go ahead and spoil the movie or ruin the book before you have a chance to read it. So we're going to the back of the book to get the answers. Remember, these are these are if you need me to say, these are psychic prophecies. Okay. All right. Okay. So that means these things are meant to happen. All right. We're speaking in that realm. So this first of all, he is meant to succeed because he has to be okay. So he's going into the private branch, but of course he has to go through. This is his gateway. This is his bridge to get there, which he successfully gets there. So that means he has to succeed in this process. Okay, all right. So that's okay. With that in mind, let's see what's going on around his energy. So the guides are expressing to us that, oh yeah, he is getting downloaded with all the instinctive things he needs to, you know, to figure out and learn. So this is an investment. Oh yeah, they have him now. Like they're invested in him. Remember I said now that they're invested in him, now he is one of theirs. So he's finally on, you want to say, on the roll. And yes, and so they acknowledge him. He feels like he's reaching out. What they call it, I'm hearing breathe again. I think that this made him nervous, like the anticipation. I get the sense that he was anticipating, and it was like trying to catch up with himself, trying to catch his breath, and he's figuring everything out. He knows that he has a gift. He has something to really to bring to them, and and of course, we know that he's going to align. These are his comrades. These are his. These group is his family. This is his soul group. This is also your son moving his life into the next level. By the way, he is thinking of you. He wants to bring you something. He wants to gift you something. So, I think I didn't need to share that, but yes, he does want to. He's going to gift you something. There's something he wants to do, or some specifically to surprise you with. It's in the form of a gift, and then it has you there. So yeah, he is thinking of you. There is a change, there's okay. So this is a big life change for him, and there's going to be a change in him that's day and night. He comes with full of surprises. Like your son will come out of like around the corner and surprise you. He definitely has some plans. In the future, like to have his create his happy experiences, his happy moments. And by the way, when he said that he wanted, like, okay, so the change he's undergoing, of course, is one of spiritual, it's mental, it's emotional, it's just life, right? The way he is perceiving things. It's also, he does acquire the physical. Does he ever get that, confidence? And remember, they said he would gain the physical confidence as well as he has the mental one, and that's when he becomes, I believe, wholesome. he will find his center in this in this world where you have to keep on your toes and you never know what's coming at you and you're constantly being tested. His crossroad is, he will, as you would say, have the ability to become so confident that he functions like his journey is like just to himself, like in like solidarity. There, okay, so there's solidarity as a group, but then there's a confidence in oneself. Like when he's given serious projects or things that like requirements, things he needs to take care of. Maybe he and another, he comes through. So like even the ability to take on challenges like alone, like solo type tests, he becomes very confident in that as well. But he also knows he has his comrades, which we already know he's gonna, have. There's gonna be pictures and gold, with the gold framing and all of that. He's good. He found his battle family, his warrior family of warriors. Yes, he will be recognized in that way. He's going to go this route, the route that he's meant to become, and he's going to continue to expand, and he's going to continue, on to the process, through the process, but the journey he's meant to explore, that he's meant to have, these are the things that he's bringing about, he's manifesting into the world. He's going to bring something wonderful to this sector, especially to the private sector. So he's going to get all of those lessons that he's needed, and then he's going to be very much a part of another type of world beyond, like, well, beyond the Navy. But his Navy is that start, and he desperately needs to go through that, and he will go through that. um, but he's definitely is going to have things for you as well. He's going to bring you up to speed. He's going to bring you, sharing, get you to share into the giftings of things, in his world, in his life, and that's the part also you get to keep, to keep your joy. Also keeping, you said you're holding him to keep in contact with you. So you are doing that as well. I can tell. I can see that. He says he's going to keep that promise to you. He says, I want you to keep your promise. You said we're going to keep in contact. That's right. He says I'm going to. He says he keeps that promise to you. So that gives us the feeling that he's taking care of self. He's taking care of himself. His comrades, his battle family, are taking care. Brothers and sisters are taking care of him, and as they take care of themselves as a group. That's right. He's prepared. He's in preparation for something greater. Well, the way that my gifting works, because I've been doing this for so long, I know exactly how the guides and I work. We are a team, and how we work together is we we focus on hearing the voice and the sound. That's what connects us all. The ability to communicate over, it. I don't need connections. Like you need to connect with your son. I need to connect with my spiritual guides, but we can hear each other's voices and we can talk. Yes. So that's how we get a psychic reading. Then we get a psychic reading and the spirit gives you your answers and spirit is interacting with us. You're developing hope in life and to make the angels smile, right? The mom and the son talking. So there you go. Well, I'm pretty amazed by you and what your son is doing, because of course I could now he's just entering into one section, but of course they showed us, a lot farther up into the future, and that's pretty amazing, what he's gonna do. Right. And then it's very amazing what you're doing as well in your journey. Of course, I'll be able to see ahead, up further up. It's amazing what you both are doing all around. Is like I'm just what do you call celebrating. I'm clapping my hands, celebrating. I'm like, wow, universe, look what you're getting. Universe is getting two wonderful gifts. I know many others, but there's like your two wonderful gifts that I'm aware of, and your universe is getting that, and you both are going to be wonderful vessels for others for sure. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, you haven't experienced what I see yet. What I see it, but you're gonna you all. I know I always say this, but you're gonna live it. You're gonna live it. I'm talking where it's like reading a book about someone that got the book like your son's in the Navy. He was on his way to the Navy. He's like, I don't see it yet, but then now he's actually experiencing. He's living the Navy. He is the Navy. He's the essence of Navy, right? And he's the essence of the life to come, as you are, as you are. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm. I can, I mean, their path is their path, but we know that the brothers that he's left with, they, we know that your son has to stay because he has a big vision ahead of him, something that he's, specifically, a goal in mind. He's 1,000% staying. But I mean, like the ones who become his brothers, because I'm the first thing they revealed, and it was about 20, no less, no, I would say a little more than definitely more than 15. Then I saw the leaders that on either side. These are like the formidable leaders on either side. Maybe those are captains, but they're like, they're older in stature. They've seen a lot. But then I saw these very well, like they're very nicely dressed and pressed, and they're looking towards the camera, and they all look so bright with the futures ahead of them, like, young men. And I saw that this was going to be the type of group where they'll keep in contact. You know how some like people do reunions. These group will be able to do. I see them doing reunions, like and sometimes meeting up, and pairing up when they're like, oh yeah, I know that's he's part of my first experience, my growth. Let me catch up with him real quick. Like they will always have a bond. I saw, and the family, I would say, family away from family, spirit family. This is the group that I'm mentioning that are taking care of themselves. Like, they're going to be protective of each other. But he's part of the group that's protecting the other brother, the other ones. He's part of the protecting group, right? We're saying that there's going to be they call it a change, but there's something definitely different about something that you're going to recognize, and you're going to say, oh, I see the difference. You're going to see but you're going to be, it's that difference that you say, oh my, I'm so proud. So, like, I'm very proud of this version, this side of you. It's like he did a lot of, difficult work, on himself to reach that level. And that's why I get to say you're going to be very pleased, very happy with the outcome. Sure. Right? Sure. Yes. When you go to the gym, allow your mind to veer out, to veer out. Imagine that you're, as you say, you're cycling or walking, however you're doing your exercise, that you're also mentally on the road, as they say, when you're on the road and you're being driven or you're driving, and however, whichever the way it would be, and you're on your way to meet with this beautiful group, this soul group. That's what we want to be doing next. We want to do that. Because this allows for you to, as you would say, embracing and accepting the future. You'll accept the future. It's okay to think this way. You know how they say, do you ever imagine yourself, maybe climbing Mount Everest? Then it's like, well, just think realistically. This is realistic mind work, because first of all, this is real, and it is your mountain. It is your Mount Everest, or your, however, kilometers of run. It is yours. Your miles of run. It is yours. Your distance run. Your at the end, your goal. It is right, but this is more authentic and as you say, personalized to yourself, to you, versus us telling you, imagine, you're going to the 14th floor, of a towering building to meet with a very important CEO. This one is very specific and is detailed to you. Yes. Right. Good. This should be easy for you then. In the real world, like how this gonna manifest? Yes. Yes. Well, maybe your dream world is real. Hmm. Maybe your dream world has always been real. It just need to be brought out on the outside into the real world. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Thus, we could say dreams do come true. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Oh, we know that we're on our way there. That's what we've been talking about. We always mention you're going to have the time and the family's going to support your endeavors to do more. So yes, yes, we've been just talking about this first bit, but as you described, but that is next. And that's what I meant when you're like, well, well, if since I'm getting everything, I was like, well, don't worry, you might want to ask about these new endeavors when it comes time. Hmm. When you know for certain you've got this position, especially your dream mind will open up to all the possibilities, the potential for doing this, like you said, doing this on a more larger scale, making these making these clothes, wonderful costumes. Mm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. But understand everything. You're speaking language to me, language that I can understand. Thank you. Thank you. I absolutely get it. And you know what? You're explaining an experience that's happening to you in real time. And it's like, this is something you may, say, wow, when, when, when does this ever happen? Which means makes it special that it's happening right now. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mhm. That's what I was going with when I was making those analogies. Well, your real dream versus the dream of climbing, as you said. Well, what is your Mount Everest? We all have one. This you now that's exactly what we may not climb the Mount Everest, but we have a Mount Everest. we need to focus on the one that we're climbing on, working on, and you that's in the way you described it is perfect. That's right. Yay! That's my goal. I secretly think of you like as that. I always keep it in my heart, but thank you. Now it's in the open. now we openly know. hmm Yeah. Yes, that I sure am. Yes. hmm hmm Yes. Right. It is. Mm. Yes. Even the logic, and I was just I was talking about this that everyone is they have university education, they've lived their life, they've got their family, they've got their houses, and they're like, is this real? Come on, tell me the truth. As though I would say, no, here, look behind the curtain, see the person pulling the pulleys. No, it's like, well, it's either that or like I'm going to say, well, let me show you something I think you're ready to see. You ought to see this, and then we demonstrate it, and then it happens, and you're like, okay, how are you going to explain that? We're the scientists and I have been trying to explain this for forever. If you can explain it, we'll all know. Like, how did this happen? And so, as you said, so precise. That's because you're real. You are real. That's why it happened. You are as wonderful as they lay claim. You proved it. You proved it. That's what was really proven. It wasn't proven. Oh yes, you okay. You got through these tests. No, the real proof is of who you are, because the reading, the seed that was planted is that the reading suggested that you are all of these qualifications. You're the individual in which all of this is stemming from. Because you're real, then everything that comes forth, the fruits of the reading are real. Hmm. Yes. Judgment. Who would have judgment? Love is supposed to be all that encompassing. Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, and absolutely, and we are in check. As what you call it, the medium. Like I'm listening to the guides. I'm listening to the gods. I'm listening to all the higher vibrations. That can reach you. That you would want them to reach you. It's like, look, if you've not been real in any other time, be real now. And they did that for you. They come through. They came through for you. Hmm. Yes. 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 Okay. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Right. Hmm. Indeed. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Well, that's scary. Yes. The recognition that you said the magical word. Yes. You remember? I remember Spirit made that comparison. That's what you deserve, that you needed that this time. All of that time that you didn't get the recognition, you're supposed to get it this time. Well, you are getting it this time. Okay. Hmm. Because you're unique and special. That makes you so unique. right down to your no one's astrological chart is the same. No, I've never read, out of all the people I've read, I've never read two readings twice. They always, you're all, because you're so unique and so detailed in the way you do things, even your energy that I connect with. I can remember your energy always, forever and forever, but your energy is not alike someone else's. It's not like, oh, same energy I've read for you. No, your energy is distinctly yours. So they could hear your voice signature as well, distinctly from everybody. Energetically, yes, you're unique. That's what makes you one of a kind. You're so special. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. It is. It's aligning, like like this group of souls whom have aligned with you already, as is this one is beginning to align with you as well. The one, as you said, the love of life meant to meet is aligning. You're beginning to see, the outline, this person entering into your space and who is beginning to manifest, is becoming more authentic to you, more real of substance to you. And the quality of these visions are not something that is out of your imagination, like something you're just picturing in mind. This is something that is as real as, like, the other ones, how they started out as pictures and manifested as real, as how real this one is. You can sense it. And mm, mm, yep, that's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. S- well, you can. Okay, so the spirit can warn us if someone is gonna come in and then kind of slip through, and we're like, he's not the one spirit is talking about. The spirit can do that, but spirit is so precise, um, that this one is gonna come in a time where there isn't anyone else. At least anyone. I mean, there could be options, but no one that you would take serious. Not as serious as this one. As you're real, and as these other groups of people you're pulling in are real, so is your love life, because it's all about being rounded, well-rounded lifestyle. Spirit said you get to have that this time. You deserve. You can have. You could have. You don't have to say, "Oh, so I get everything that I want. So I have to sacrifice something." No, you don't. You don't have to sacrifice your love life for a fabulous career. You can have the fabulous career. Remember, the fabulous career is also opening up the world for you to draw in the love life. So that means, yes, they both are going to coexist peacefully together. And of course, we already know the family is going to be approving. Yes. Yes. They're going to be approving of that. They're going to be approving. Yes. I'm listening. Mm-hmm. They're going to be, the family is also going to be approving that you're living life, to the fullest. That you're happy. You're happy with what you're doing in life, but also you're happy living life. Having a private time, having a private life. They are hoping that you manage having a private life, because again, this see how it's, and that's beginning to, we're drawing lines again, because they're saying we're affording you to have everything that you're going to want and need, and for you to not utilize it to, you say, to improve the circumstances of your private life, they would be beyond them. They said, of course you're gonna have the you're definitely gonna have the ability to. You're gonna turn heads. You're gonna draw in a very specific type of man. We already know that, by the way. We saw that educated guy. Mm-hmm. Right, and well, and a dark, with on the dark side, like the dark hair, the mustache, beard, educated, smart, loves conversations, well poised, like he's well settled in business. He got some business change, but I've also has done something close with the university. Also, meeting you in passing, and which means, which another line is drawn. You're in this parallel space, in this parallel space representing, or in the space of, like out in, like in society. So you're doing well, like in society as well. Like you're loving it there. And remember, I said, well, he said, well, I mean, I'm not able to see that, but okay. Like, because you asked, will I like it there? Will I like the flow of things? And of course, you know, um, Qatar has been all over. I said, you'll see it. They're all over the news, and they're celebrated for their grand wealth, and how beautiful their country. So there you go. So the people who've actually lived it are letting us know. Don't worry, she's gonna love it. I think that universe's way of saying, don't worry, she's gonna love it here, and they're gonna love her. And when she meets this gentleman, oh yeah, they said you are going to have the lifestyle to support that connection. Sometimes we could have the best loving experience. We know we could, if only if we could get there. But we had to work on our abilities, work on ourselves, to be able to get to those places. Like, how do we do that? Close the gap. So you now you're gonna do it. You're doing it this time, and you're going to be in that same space. And that it's so. This is also so very sad. There are people, they wake up and they are praying that they meet the person, and they're talking about meeting. He's meeting you, like he's supposed to meet you, and between he meeting you and you meeting him, life can take us to many different turns. And but this finally happens where you both will find each other. It's beautiful when we think about it. And this time, no one's going to say, "Oh no, we're not going to welcome you here. We're going to keep you from meeting. You'll never have your love." Ha ha ha. No, that's not your story this time. No one's going to come in. The rug is not going to be swept from underneath either of you. Yeah, right? It's going to be nice and stable. No spiritual earthquakes. There's no warnings in this part of the reading. No, oh my gosh, if you don't do this, if he doesn't do that, nothing, no readings like that this time. Because that's the beauty of our Venus in our Aries. She's really helping us out this year, and it's helping us to attract towards the loved ones better. Mm. He's your loved one. He's in the future, but he is your loved one. Well, right. Well, Venus is a time frame. Okay, so let's go back to that what was said. So Venus in Aries it's like everything is fast. Like everything will happen very quickly. So that was the reason why it's so short of time, short, in the terms in the timeline. So like you actually moving into, like the space where this meeting is possible. It's also in fact happening very quickly. So you're able to catch on to this new life very quickly, what we call like a transcendence. You're transcending very quickly. So that yeah, well the family want you to work, and they want you to work, right, like as they say, work a lot and work like always, they're the center of your life, right? But they also want you to have a life of your own that is important to them. And they said that they are, not just emotional, like you say, like supportive, but they're also financially supportive. So you can do that. They could want all day for you to do these things, but if you don't have the means to do it, there's no way. But they're saying no. They are going to make sure you have the means to have a life, that they're this great life, peaceful life that they keep putting in your reading. They keep saying, no, we support you having your own, like a private life, something going on for yourself. Hmm. Okay. I re- that we read that that's the first part of the trip before you go to the guitar. Okay, gotcha. I'm following. Yes, more than in spirit this time. Yes, yes. That pond can't keep us apart. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. The one the let's talk about the second one. No, you're gonna have that one like before you even come back. But by the end of the trip, like while during the trip, you're gonna have signed. They're gonna be so enamored by you. You're gonna sign that contract within the time limit. As you said, the probationary period. They're gonna want to move forward. Like, you're fine. Yes, we got this settled. We're coming back and we'll swoop you up, and we're on our way to our new home. It's gonna be that bit. You'll have already signed. Know you're heading there, because it's part of that's how manifestation works. It materializes. Hmm. Of course. I love this reading. It's my favorite reading to meditate on with the guides. It's so exciting. Hmm. Mm, indeed. Beautiful. Exactly. That's what we wanted. We aim to do that. That's our goal. To show you how special, how unique, how real life is for you. This is real life. Not what's talking about what life can be, but what life is. This is life, your life. That's right. You're going to have both of those contracts signed. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's right. Exactly. So as you're celebrating, I'm gonna be celebrating. Everybody you tell about this is gonna celebrate, and you should get recognition. You should get recognition. Hmm. Okay, okay, I'll make sure I'm here. Okay, I like to come in on the weekend. Yeah, that's right. Hmm. Okay, indeed. Will do. For now. I think I threw her off. No, I didn't. Like, you're not gonna gurify me. I'm not ready to sit like this all day. You know I'm gonna mess up the whole thing. I'm gonna be looking goofy. I'm gonna be like, hold on. Hey. I'm gonna mess up the whole thing. If you make me a guru, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna say, I've never said this quote. I'm gonna say, "What's up, my man?" If you dare try to make me a guru, I promise you, I'm gonna embarrass you. You say, "There's no way that is there's no no way that is not a guru. That's not the way, that is not the behavior of a guru." Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Yes, absolutely. She was filling up my boat. I felt my boat sinking. So I was trying to get that water out in my boat before the boat sank. Oh gosh. Mm, that was a close one. Like I'm barely a prophet, you know. I'm a seer. Like, let's not get carried away here. I'm not ready to be added up, you know, to be amongst the stars, you know, the gods, the gods of, you know, I love their good fortune, the gods of fortune telling. I don't want them to coming after me. It's cloudy out there already. You're like, oh no 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 no. Yeah. But that way, nothing. I see. That's why I got to be careful because if they ever get a hold of me, they're gonna like. She's like, yeah, I'm coming to America. I'm like, yeah, that's why. Yeah, you got to be close. And I already know you'll be trying to like, have you eaten? You know, like taking me out to eat. Yeah, so I already know the moment they see me in real life, they're gonna do so. They're gonna do all this stuff for me. They keep telling me, like, if you were here, I would like, oh, you, okay, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Mm. Oh gosh. Uh, yeah, I have to, you know, give credit what credit's due. Yeah, was it? I saw this coming. That she's like trying to understand, like, how do I do it? Like, because they said this doesn't seem it's real, but it doesn't seem real. So they're in shock. They're like waking up for the first time. and like nothing like this has ever happened, or like my life just opened up to me. I can do anything I want. So that realization is setting in. They're like, wait a minute, let me process this one more time. Okay, you said this, and they said like, how does it keep coming up? So every time they start to put it on, like ice me up, I'm like, you did all the work. It's like, but she caught me. She said, I know, I did all the work, but that every time I talk to you, it's like I said out to the universe, and the universe heard me. Like, wait a minute, but that just would explain how you're getting. This is getting more difficult. It's like, why does it feel? It feels like a movie. Is this a movie? Pinch me. Like, I I promise I'm not a dream character. Ask me what time it is. We'll talk about the time scale. So you said in this time, she's asked me like, okay, so what time, what day is this gonna happen? I'm like, see, I'm not a dream character. Because dream characters, we already know universally, you ask them any questions about time and place, the dream changes. Like, nope, you're still here. This is the real world. So, oh my gosh. Okay. So, oh, by the way, everybody moves like, she made a very interesting point. She says, I like you. I like people who don't conform to the normalities, the norms. I was like, well, the the normal reality won't allow me to. The normal reality they recognize it. Like the atmosphere changed. It changed when you arrived. You don't belong. So they already know. They already the gig is up. They're not gonna let me do the normal. I have to do this. This isn't the normal, but she's like, she's part of that world, that structure. So she says, well, I know I've not said this before. I'm like, yes, you have. When I connect with you, I just feel something awesome. I say, see, you said that. This is different words. I like, you're never gonna get me to cough it up. I'm never gonna admit that. Mm-mm. Yes, I I know. I know. Jehovah Jireh had a lot of say in this matter. I know. Yes, yes, there is a Jesus Christ. I know. And he ain't gotta be me. I know. So I'm always like, I don't even use the phrase, I gotta make myself small to make you look bigger. No, nothing like that. But I definitely will do that for the gods. I will make myself small to make them make them bigger. Yes, amplify them. It was like, then she comes back and says, "Well, yeah, but that still doesn't explain how you got all of them correct. Like, how do you connect?" I was like, so I'd explain, well, it's not a connection. It's like, you know all this without knowing his name. That's not like my parents, my grandparents would say, you know all that in 3 minutes. You know all that just by me having you ask them who it is. You know all that. They told you all that. That's the last one. They told you all of that. Let me see. It's like, because they always thought that I was over there asking questions when I would go answer the door, and they would give me their name. They say who they want to talk to, and I'd come back and I would say, "There's this person. They want to do this. They want to do that. They want to borrow this. They want to ask you for that." They say they told you all that, and I'm thinking it's normal. It's like, and they sent me to my room. They called me out. And they said, they didn't know what to call me. They couldn't call me nosy. But then whenever I prefer to hang out, so they would think that I was listening. After it's like, no, you don't need to. You don't have to be here. You can go play. You can go outside. Just don't get dirty. Just don't like go play in the dirt. Come back clean. That's it. Like you don't have to be under us. Listen to us. Or what I like looking at our mouth because especially when they've discovered I don't. You don't have to tell. They don't have to give me information. I just. I would take. They would give me their name, and I didn't know what I was. I didn't know that was a connection. Well, today I don't need the name. I just need the. I just need to have the interaction. Her interaction at the time was voice to voice, but I can. I've read for very important people via Twitter. I'm like, you seriously, you're gonna make me read for you in tweets, in messages? Wow. Like trying. I mean, trying. It's like people make me go through African swamps. Sorry, sorry. It's a good joke. Trust me. Just follow me. They make me go through African jungle just to get them a reading to keep from going through PayPal. I mean, that was when I used to accept when I used to do that. I don't. I mean, I don't do that today, but I mean, I don't do PayPal. But they're like, I'm like, look, I'm not gonna. If I was gonna charge you, I would just simply would say you could make this easier on me. If I could, well, I'm like, okay, I'll reach you in Twitter. Well, I'm dignified and I'm important and so we could just we could keep it on Twitter and but I've got some serious questions. It's about that it's about the courts. They're like circuit 1, circuit 2. What is a circuit? So then I discovered like did you know that courts, fun fact, are in circuits? They're like chapters. I didn't know. I got all the answers right. And it involved the Supreme Court even. Hmm. So, but this one I knew personally, so it wasn't about oh man you got shafted. No, this one I knew. I know this one, and is a billionaire. So even though you know all of the things we could say, it wasn't for me. It wasn't about that because I had a first of all, I went to a place that they own, a studio, met another famous person, a comedian, who suggested that I go with a particular psychic company that I end up joining. And it says, well, okay, I joined them. They said, don't worry, they'll hire you, and they did. They said, yeah, they have great pay scale, all that. In tears, I'm like, how do you know all this? They're like, do you have? Do you like own it? And oh well, they do radio and all. Like he knew all like everything like from the inside, like an insider. Like wow, he's like yeah, work, you know, apply with them. So I did the test reading and all that, and they got me a contract. So, so in a way, I'm like, so that's when I say I know this person, like I really know them. But all the celebrities, I never charge them, and I never like, like try to make money off of them or try to like. In fact, we're friends. Like we like they still follow me to this day, and this was years ago, like well before 2018. We're talking about 2014, 2014, around that time, 2013, 2014. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and it's like I'm watching. Okay, so I predicted, but it's like people call and tell me what's happening to me. They show me, and we talked about all the like sophisticated like NASA type technologies that's out. Yeah, I was reading over these some of these technologies that's coming out. I was like, it's gonna be done for this and this and this and that. Government can use it on a like to infrastructural level. So yeah, so that's my kind of like a little bit of like like a track record. I have track records all throughout my life. My if I talk, if you say, well, what about your childhood? Well, when I started reading, I read for all of my peers in my adult lives. All my peers were finding me one at a time, whether through internet, through just running into each other, and they said exactly everything out of all the things they could remember. The one thing on site, they could have said all the things we used to do, sports, things, jokes and entertainment. The one thing they bring up, and the only thing they bring that mattered at the moment of our adult lives was, you read those tarot cards from me, and I did everything that those tarot cards that you said, and I've got the children, I got the school, and I was thinking, I was like, okay, at the age they have, like their next 20 to 25 years, it it was like right there, it was given to them. Mm, yep, they did it, including the gender, the children, the all of it. What they would do in life, what they would like, their career. I mean, it's genuinely themselves, but the career came from out of the reading. It was like it confirmed that they wanted to go to school for this or go into this trade. Those are my peers, and we traveled like in sports, and it was on stage and all kind of things together. Welcome, it's a pleasure, Donald. Okay, sure. Mhm. Indeed. Welcome. A pleasure. Well, it's a pleasure to always work with your questions, of course. That's my fun time. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's start with the boyfriend. So, okay, so you have this ex-boyfriend, and you want to know if he's cheated, if he cheated on you. Got it. I got it. So, all right, so let's take a look and see what we gather here. So the guys say this: being divinely guided, protected, self in love, mixed feelings. Okay, so there is something coming up with an open relationship. It was with a friend. The friend also was in his workplace, so that it does come up as a true that an affair did happen or a cheating with a different woman other than yourself that did in fact occur. Well, I don't read into those areas. I stay out of the bedroom. But in terms of like the terminology in which you describe as cheating, that occurred. That happened with this woman who is actually with a person he works with. So they had a friends with benefits. That's the nature of the relationship. The guy says that let me see. When I read for her, she doesn't give me a sense that she's like in a concrete relationship. It's like she could have a relationship. She could be married if she wanted to. She's but she found his interest and got involved with him. But she could have been dating anyone else, but chose to have this. Like this was a distractor, I think. Like she needed something, some man to distract her, and this was his way of opening up a relationship, or they said to being in an open relationship. That's what he wanted. He wanted an open relationship. Hmm. Well, the company, they want me to be very careful in that in answering they prefer a not answer those questions. But however, if it's matched to him, I believe we could still work out an answer to see if anything is matched with him to you. So we'll do that as we speak. And if anything comes up that may give insight to your question, I promise I'll pass that along. I'll figure out a way. So what I could see in this space is this. Guides are letting us know that, well, he definitely shows up. Okay, so um, in the reading, it does suggest that there's a realm of, it talks about children. That's the first thing that comes up. Of course, he shows up in the reading. And then there is a woman who I believe is you, is yourself. So this, okay, there's a lot of symbols that represent. You might want to actually go see, go either go to the clinic or go to an actual physician or doctor. You might actually want to speak to someone because you have all of the symbols that would suggest of family developing. So you might want to check because you have all the symbols here. You have all the signs in my reading that your household could be growing. I hope that's clear enough and direct enough. We got to keep it pretty Disney, but you get the point. Okay. Mm, okay. Well, that again, those are the areas that I do not go into because I stay out of the bedroom spaces. Yes, I want to protect my energy. Right. So, right. So that's why I can't. My spiritual guides won't even let me go in there. Now, my spiritual guides are gonna always protect me. They're protecting my energy. Now, if you got people that are entering your space unannounced, you definitely need to, if you need to get some security cameras, you need to get alert the proper enforcers. Right, right. You want to be very aggressive in that area. They wouldn't be pretty. There wouldn't be much left of them if they entered mine because we have the second. I know we have Second Amendment. I know you guys probably don't have that. They would get blown away. Sorry to say it like that, but they'd probably get shot. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, let's take a look. So what I could see is this. Spiritual world says that in the realms of um only if okay, so only if you're highly active. They said that you needed some Aries. You needed the Aries vibration, which is that very active, like challenging the oppositions, rebelling. Like you would have to really stand on your toes on this one and say, that's it, getting in the ring. It doesn't happen on its own. Like if you don't talk about it, no one will talk about it. You gotta make them. You gotta have to make them to get the justice you want. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Oh my that one might be the biggest challenge. And you might need help with this one. And not like a psychologist, I mean like a legal person, counselor who can help guide in this, like have some support, someone to be a backbone. You you might have to have a backbone. I mean, somebody to be as a backbone, somebody who can strong enough to support your credibility, like a legal counselor, somebody who said, "Okay, I can get in the ring for you. You just tell me what's wrong." I'm seeing a man. He's a little heavy. He's heavier with a big. I see him wearing a brown dinner jacket, and he has dark hair. But he's a little. He's a big guy. The guys say that he would take this on. He would take it on. So I do believe that it's not completely taken away from you, your ability to fight back. It's not completely taken away from you. It's possible. Let's see what the guides illustrate here. Okay, got it. So let's take a look and see what they say here. So the guides here is this. Spiritual guides say, um, no. It does feel like, okay, so there's a lot of like minor things here, such as like your paths are meant to like to dissolve. It felt like it's like he has a lot going on. He has a lot to say, but I don't see you in his journey, a part of his journey. It's like you two were not meant to be together, even be friends for long. In other words, mm-hmm. Okay. So these minor things that they're describing, this is all what we call like the microcosm stuff. This is like ordinary little small little things, and so they say that he may be a little bit double sided, like in the mind, like the guy who wears a mask, and you get to know him, and you think you know him, but then you see his true form. It shows his true face. This is the type of person you're dealing with, and you invested in his, I guess, in the normality of his life. It's like you don't even belong there. You're out of place in the reading. In fact, you're not even visually there in the reading while he's read. And the only way that you can really shut this out is going to be to block him. It's like to block him from reaching in and out, and anytime he can enter, closing him off, taking away his privileges. Three. Well, now with these types of answers through the spirit, what you're gonna want to do is, of course, do what's the first thing is first. You know, let's go to the clinic, and then begin making your decisions and preparations from there. Get confirmed scientifically your situation. Um, mm, we'll get there. We'll get to that. Hmm. We'll get to that. We'll get to that part. What to do about him? Because it sounds like you're not meant to be a part of his journey. But that doesn't mean you don't have a journey of your own. Your journey can be protected, without him. Okay. We that we can guide. We can guide from that space. And so that's the first thing is first. Clinic. First things first. Do that, and then of course I'm always on. You can always reach back out. I have specific time frames, but I'm always usually on every day in this time, around this time. If I'm not, then I'll definitely be on the next day, the following day, and we can guide, well, what's happening next with you. What decisions, what path will you take? That we can answer those questions. And the protection, we can set up the protective wards you're going to need to keep him from out of your journey, to keep him out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. let's take a look. We'll just ask him. So the guides here is this spirit world says, um, well, it doesn't. It just it. People are asking about you, and he keeps saying something about briefly, like a brief exchange. So it's like he's maybe misleading people about you, like he's misleading people maybe that you two are still talking, like everything is fine, that you two are still in some kind of contact, but he's not going into depth with people about you. And they're the ones bringing you up, by the way. It's like people are asking about you. When he says, well, he doesn't know, you two talk so briefly. So that gives the impression that you two are talking, and that may not be the truth. It's like you would love to set the record straight. Like everything, and don't listen to him. Nothing what he's saying is what's happening. Hmm. Okay, good luck to you. When you're in your journey, and oh, after you go to the clinic, come reach back out, and we'll see what happens next. Okay, right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take a look and see what we gather here. Guide says this. So okay, we're gonna take a look. Let's see. So the guides say in this regard is that um I mean it just seems like when only it's like this person can be trusted as a friend, but anything closer, anything more, maybe not. Anything more than that. So it's kind of a no. It's a big no, but a small yes. A small yes if it's like just a friend, like an associate, that's fine. But when you start bringing in so many other souls involved, then it gets messy. Okay, let's see what's going on here with this energy. So the guys illustrate that. Um, let's see. Long term. Well, it's like he's thinking of the long term effects. Oh wow. Okay, he's a bit of a stag. He just kind of like just wants to kind of like go his own way, but then like kind of catch up with you when he can. So I believe like he would have told you anything to fit his own narrative. He's already got his has his mind made up. He has his own narrative. Hmm. You know when his reading comes up, it's like you may not even want to do this, but it's like the more that he and you connect, it's like at times you two like may get together, but he just always end up going his own way. This man is not interested in. He's not going to settle down or anything or do anything. You know, maybe serious. It always kind of feel like it's dramatic how he enters into your life. The reading, there's nothing wrong with the questions or the reading. We got some of the things that you need to focus on, especially focusing on yourself. That's good. Now you've got at least a pathway a real path. You have a real pathway forward. Great. Mm. Yeah, it definitely reach back out and let us. We're going to definitely work on that question. Okay, what happens now? We got to the clinic, we can protect our energy from this guy. That's right. We have your back. All right, talk with you then. See, they always come and do dark stuff. That was dark energy. That was a dark. That was not real. That was them trying to see that. Every time I do a reading, I was they. That's why I don't want to be a guru. I was being praised and worshipped, and they were coming in and they were trying to be funny. Mm-mm. No way. Bush. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Mm. My goodness. They try to. That's why I don't like them. That's the part I hate about um, they listening to the calls because they are what's the word I used? They're depraved. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna step into being a guru with them. I'm not creating a guru circumstances or anything like that. And that's why I must have rebuked it. That was wise for me to do. Now I know why I did it because I draw like the most you know like all of the bad souls come out of nowhere. You know, and they keep thinking I'm not open to any of that. I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna let them anywhere near my any of my things. I was just talking about this. My gosh, I am not letting them anywhere near. Mm-mm, no, some dark soul person, an occultist. They come in and they're like, they sort of ask, they start trying to interweave. It always starts with all these like very personal things, medical things, and then they start, you know, sounding degrading. Of course, they're adding foul language, but I always tell anybody who's allowed. I mean, I just say, "Hey, be you." I'm not going to do it, but that's how I know that. That's how I know them apart. Some people are just mad, their situation. No, this is different. This is a person. This is someone, an occultist individual trying to infiltrate. And what I hate about it is that it's always someone from. To me, I think it's somebody from the company, or it's like they are I think they're writing. I was either they're writing a book or they're writing a script for a movie, which a lot of companies do. But I just not. I always read them as in. I just go ahead and read them in a serious, real way. But I definitely am not interested in them. And I always like the idea that when people, okay, so a client connect with me beautifully, and I don't like piggybacking. Like I'm nice to the person who is the client. That is a good client. I'm not nice to everybody. So when I'm saying one thing to one woman or one man, I'm not welcoming women. I'm not welcoming all men. If I'm talking to if I'm talking to their, well, in this case their client, I'm not talking to them. So it's like, okay, oh, it just irks me when people do that. When they do that, I hate that side. That's a dark side of our industry. It's serious. It's not. It's not a laughing matter. You know, people trying to rope you into a cult like activities all the time or degrading situations all the time. And now, as a psychic, separate. That's why psychics, you got to keep yourself separate from the industry because those aren't psychics. Those are people who know business, and they uh, and of course everybody knows, and they always try to. They don't think you're like a cool psychic, like a psychic that'll be like, I don't think they'll look at you like you're Wanda, somebody or one of the Marvels or the Phoenix. They look at you as like, oh no, you're that empath, And the movie, it was a horror movie about an empathic person, and with, I hate to say it, with very passive. I got it. Ooh, I got it. Because women can be strong too. Passive energy, and who's good be, yes, who's being, who ends up getting sacrificed in the end, or something. I'm like, that's never gonna happen to me. I'm like, it's like I'm so far ahead. Oh, that just it's it used to frustrate me when people would even act like they're gonna do this. Oh my gosh, I can feel the warmth. And I'm like, you don't think I will? You don't think I will retaliate? American style, retaliate. I will retaliate on your butt. Oh gosh, this person, they try to pull me into a cult activity and like, how you dare? And that they haven't seen the worst of me. I did have to say something a little outright, like, look, I don't go into certain areas. I don't need to go in certain areas and be graphic. You better read between lines. So they caught that. The next stage is, once I had to. There's somebody who contacted me, and I had to put up literal, such like protective wards outright. I had to literally say, I'm putting up protective. Put somebody pushed me that far. I had to darken my aura, so to speak. And that was only like once that I've had to do that, like one time. I'm glad I don't have those conversations no more, or people don't come at me like that anymore. That's good. Also, I'm with another company, and I noticed that people are much more kinder. I think it was like it was before 2018. Everybody was like really like, it's like that. I mean, they were like, I just want what I want. I don't care, spiritual. It was really about what I want. But now when I come back, now it's like it's calm. Everybody's nicer. They're polite. But these things haven't changed. Some things never change. Yeah, there's people trying to do dark stuff. I'm like, no, this love was for one person. It wasn't. That doesn't mean I'm giving it to the community. I'm very I'm very selective, and number one, and primarily I take care of my own. Like when I read a person, my energy's with that person, and I look after them. Hmm. Oh, and another thing they do that be making me really like mad. They start talking about I'm gonna say if I'm gonna might as well say it out loud. They start talking about like pregnancy. They start bringing up all these other stuff. They start to bring up kids. They start bringing up like a lot of demented stuff in the conversation. It be making me angry, and I know it's not a real person. I know it's not a real reading, and but I'm always like, well, let me read them like for real. So I just read them for real, and it always happen, especially when the energies are high, go high up, like the one before them, the one that you all witness. So anyway, now you witness. How do you deal with people when? Because not all people are like you described the other one, like all nice and full of heart and full of love and rainbow. You're right. Like these always follow. I'm like this. You are not getting anywhere here in here where all these lovely people are in here enjoying their lives. You are not coming in here. We're gonna have to hose you down. We got to do a lot of work with you first before we let you through. We can't. You shall not pass. So that's so now you know that's how I deal with that. How do you deal with the you making it pretty? You got your your little your little light blue shirt on. You know that the devil runs rampant, and what you do know that are you prayed up. This is how I deal with it. It's coming out. You're saying it live. You're saying it in HD. This is now you know how I deal with it, and why I'm always still like, how are you smiling? This will tarot. You know those are tarot cards that the church said. The pope said that's contraband. This is how I do it, and this is why I stay smiling because I know how to deal with it. I like you're not gonna take the happy, the joy. You're not gonna take away my laughter, my love. No, 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 no. I know. I'm aware. So like whenever I'm working with people, I'm already putting protections over them naturally. Like because I have of course University of Metaphysical Sciences, um, you know training. So I'm also protecting my clients, but of course I'm protecting myself. Of course, I'm protecting myself so I can protect the clients. But they just be making me mad. I don't care if they're writing a book or not. I don't like people like getting me mixed up in like I definitely don't do well in the conspiracy group, like the groups that's got their own little conspiracy things going on, and like this on like, well, people running around and harming kids and things like that, and they're like, I'm just trying so hard, I'm doing this or another, and is this real? Is it, what's going on? Is it something I feel like delusional? Is like, it's trying to give me like spiritual mental smut. It's not psychic or spiritual. It's just dark psychologies. The dark psychology. I call them dark soul group. I even have a name for them. I call them dark soul group. Dark soul group. That's a DSG. A DSG. Dark soul group. So, um, oh, yeah. Anyway, whew. And that's so. I did a reading. Some things, are legitimate. I mean, there was a legitimate question around the pregnancy. So I went ahead and I looked at my cards and said, that's why I always read them, but I always read them for real. I don't go having banters with them. And I like, look, I don't even know. Let me ask my guides. And I'm like, guides, what do you want me to say to this soul? Like without me, clearly I can't judge them if I'm saying, guides, I feel that this person is a dark soul, but what do you want this person, this soul, to know? This is your opportunity. This is your big moment. And then so it said, yeah, the first thing that comes up is all about children. And then the next thing that comes up is about the guy. Then the next thing that comes up is like, let's like check it out. And then the next thing that comes up is a fertility uh, card. But I know I know who it's safe to have these conversations with more, I feel like in a more respectful way that's respectful for both of us. And I did feel like this one definitely was trying to make some play monopoly with the spirits. So I don't let people use me, like how they always like they'll kidnap the psychic for their own ends, and the psychic's like, let me go. The psychic was literally on her or his way to take the most important exam of their life, so detours an exam that they can't reschedule for. They're already having problems with the professor. Somebody kidnaps a psychic full of empowered people. They have like active powers. You know, the basic horror story. Uh, for psychics and spiritualists, and then be like answering basic questions like, look, why don't you just go to the clinic and get the scientific answer if you But I humored it. I humored me, and I was like, well, sure enough, because I mean, I have always had the ability. Even when I was young, I knew like what was going on with mom, and I would be like, mom, all of this, and like, how did you know? And she had to double check. Like, am I putting on the calendar? Like, so that was when I was growing up. Now, and as an adult, I've read for women, and I've said, I see you become a child, and they say, I have my tubes tied. Even how I landed with this company, I predicted that manager's pregnancy, that she would have a boy, and then of course later on it says, yeah, you don't have to answer pregnancy questions. In fact, we'd rather you not answer any medical questions, and just to keep the pressure off of you, you don't have to answer any pregnancy questions. I said, deal. And then was of course sending photos of the baby. It was like, but before then was saying, hey, wait, if you would like to take a gander at the gender of the baby, I already told you the gender anyway. Then it then went into tell me exactly when I'm gonna have the baby. Like, no, 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 no. I'm not gonna do that. Because to me, it feels like a psychic degrading bit. It's like sometimes I feel like people will ask about those types of questions to try to kneel the psychic, or make the psychic submissive, or make the psychic sound like to sound submissive. I think that's an energetic, dark psychology, um, you know, something that they're trying to a strategy, which I've learned to protect my energy. My guides don't. I've talked with my guides. My guides don't want me. I kneel to no one. I am sovereign. Yeah, yeah, I have my sovereignty and my dignity. So I will never put myself in a conversation where it's energetically. They're only speaking to me. They don't speak to people this way. They're speaking to me this way because they're thinking that it's a power energy dynamic thing, like with empaths, which I do not permit from men or women, especially. And I had to do it first with men. That's why I come on pretty heavy, because I'm like, I hate to say it, but it's true. If I can outmaneuver men, right, who are my equal and greater, then I certainly can outmaneuver women who are equal and then lesser. So I like if I can like lecture the men on this, I certainly can lecture, and the women just couldn't believe it. It's gotten me in many trouble before. Hence, why I always navigate now differently. I'm like, oh no, 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 you're not getting me, because I know that's a battle I cannot win. Doesn't matter how excellent of a reader man I am. Oh no, no, no. Because that was 2018. Now men can, because it's a kind of like a Aquarius things. The masculine, men are not allowed to express their emotions openly, but now because of Age of Aquarius, men are learning how to do that properly and respectfully, and not harm anyone, not harm themselves. Yeah, but you should better express. A man should better express himself and not like go Mach 10. Like it's crazy. No, not about like that. I know people get heated, but self control, self restraint. Women are learning that about their power, that they have so much, they have power and and to use it, and when and maybe even when to use it. Like women do, they are very powerful, and they're learning that, and that's where I don't call it accountability. Women just need to be held accountable. No, 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 no. I think women are learning to account for the power they wield. That's what I mean by accountability. So yeah, women are learning, like, first of all, before you get world power, learn and understand the powers that you have just on a day to day basis, like in society, because you have great power. It's like getting women to see that in themselves. But now, of course, now that we're past the 2018 bit, women are seeing that, and that's what we want. We want more of that. And so I'm also working with, women from India. I'm like, man, you open up their minds. There's a certain, okay, there's many cultures, but if we were blindfolded and couldn't hear the dialects of people, their accent, you whomever culture you're in, you would say that was your culture. You wouldn't even know because it's so identical to all culture universally. Everybody's going through the same thing. Everybody's going through the same thing. So yeah. So women are like connected with the power that they've always had. That's beautiful. And then men are learning how to, not when I say connect with their emotions, I don't mean like crying on woman's shoulder. I'm not meaning it that way. I'm not meaning like, you know what I mean. Not like that. I mean like, no, like as a male, just be able to express, okay, yeah, that hurt. Yeah, that hurt. And I feel like, no, that didn't hurt. That didn't hurt. And you're like wrenching on the inside, like the guy's like, yeah, yeah, this part just wasn't really very fair. It wasn't fair. It's like, it was a little one sided. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That hurt. You're hurt, man. You're hurt. Like if you say it, then maybe someone, maybe she can help you get to a better position yourself differently. Maybe maybe things can change, or even if you're speaking to amongst brethren, maybe you both, everybody can sharpen each other. They say iron sharpens iron, but we don't we like you never know that was a part of that was also made like a they call it a weak link. That's a weakness of not having the self restraint or the self control to manage emotions well as a male is like that's a weakness because that's where people can control you or get you to act outside of yourself. So, well, anyways, so we're unraveling that. So yeah, we still have this a dark group, and also this dark group already came in as a male. Just in case you're wondering, the male. So it was female, male, female, and by the way, when it happens, it goes quiet for an hour or two, and they usually always do it like at the end of my, kind of like at the end of my day. So I was expecting it. I was like, you're not real, but I'm gonna read you as though you're real. Like when people, okay, so when I test read, where people are gonna decide if I can join their team or not. There's a team of psychics. I always read them for real. Hence, you're gonna have a baby boy soon. Yeah, I'm telling like, no, I'm like, you're just going for, like, you're putting it all on the table. Yeah, I'm betting it all. Yeah, I want this job. I bet all these chips you're gonna have a baby boy with your husband. You hire me, we work together. You'll find yourself getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You have a baby, and you'll say, "Gosh, this psychic, told me, told me I was gonna have a baby boy." I like I had to be nice to you. Like you gave me my job, so I'm like I'm blessing your baby. Health on your baby, health on your family, health with your husband, health to you, prosperity. Oh, you're from South Africa. Oh yeah, I'm actually been reading South people from South Africa. That's a sad ordeal. It's like like all okay. what I notice, what I hate about this conversation is that okay, all around the world, people can come in as refugees. It's very rare that because everybody who is like refugee, like there's refugee from South America, refugee from Africa, Black Africa. There's refugee from India. There's refugee from the Asian country. But a rare moment in history where white people in their people in their from their group have need the same assistance that we've given the rest of the world. By the way, we've given the rest of the world these assistance. We're mad at those people today, knowing that oh yeah they're gonna come in and get all kinds of breaks and it's gonna be easy and they can go to university and they gonna all of that right. And then it's okay, fine, fine, but this is a rare occasion. They were mad when Ukrainians, right? When Ukrainian who are white, but they have their heritage, their motherland, a place to call home. That would be Ukraine. When they were coming over because they needed the assistance from the world, and needed kindness. Okay, now it's the South. Now it's the white, particularly the white South Africans. Rare moment in history. It should be in place for anybody who needs the help to get kind of like financial aid. Financial aid is in place for anybody who needs it. That's what I always thought. If you're indigent, the word was indigent, and you needed some food, you needed help. It didn't matter who you were or what group you come from. If you need this help, then you come get this help. We help you. That's the way I thought about it. And they are right. Out of all of the groups, they always hoped to rescue people, particularly if they're going to invite somebody from India, that person from India has every intentions of not only coming to get a job, but I mean like start a business primarily and definitely be entering one of their colleges. Like first of all, okay, you're an immigrant. Okay, are you smart? Do you think you're going to are you college bound? Are you like guaranteed you think you can come to college? You can get through all the exams. You can hold down a job. Well, you're gonna want to hold down a job because you're gonna want to. Your stomach will be growling at 9 p.m. and you're gonna get a job. Yeah, you're gonna. Of course you are. Come on over. And they say that around the clock, and then they just invite, and then anybody who just wanted to come on in, yeah, they were just coming on in, and I'm not hating on that. You know, they're like, look, we are so grateful. We needed it. We got ran out of our own country. Now we're sorry for you take us in. So however you feel about it now, everybody's like opposed and they're trying to rescind all invitation. Beyond that, the groups that were not you didn't hear of, you would say the narrative the answers were there aren't any yeah, white people aren't doing that. White people aren't coming over in refugee because then it became oh he came in to look at you coming in on a boat because people now displaying the bias, the prejudice, etc. Discrimination towards immigrants. So then it's like well white people aren't doing that, and then when white people needed it now, such as like with Ukraine under their most horrific situation, the first okay in my brain, all right, you enter into a place, you pick a fight with actual people who can fight. So I would imagine you picking a fight like okay, you send an army, you say we're gonna fight an army, right? And India and Pakistan are fighting an army, but of course there's casualty. But in Ukraine's case, when Russia enters into like the first thing they saw, they saw a town of like full of children, old people, and women and men who are not soldiers, and they did everything. They went medieval. There, I'm gonna leave it there on that town. That's what blew this up. That's what made this. That's what made all heads turn. Not that oh yeah, it's a big battle. And then not only that, Ukraine held them off for 30 days after, like while all this was going on. Excuse me. Um, so they had a everything that happened November 7th when Hamas enters Israel. That's everything that happened February. That's why again Putin. That's why Russia was saying we're going to have it done in 28. They chose the smallest, even though it's 28 days, right? 28 days, 31 days. He chose the smallest month of the year. 28 days. They said they're going to have all of, and this and the man who is African, who is he's black. He's I don't know his name really. I shouldn't know his name. It's not safe for me to know this man. I'm American. He is genuinely African, but he is black though. He attended the victory parade in Russia. Said that even he says the point is for their minerals, and the point is for all of Ukraine, and Ukraine is still like saying keeping them from taking you know any more land, confiscating any more of their land with their minerals that they. Oh, by the way, uh, they said that they're not going to ever agree that any land that was taken, was invaded and then taken, and they're not going to ever agree. So they're not going to agree with the man who is African. I could look him up, but I'm not going to. They're not going to ever agree with him. I'm not going to. I would never agree to him. I'm not going to be like I'm over here praising somebody. I know he's African. I get it, but I know for a fact amongst the groups of Africans that he also ransacked, I'd be among that group. That's the group I would be. And I know this. I feel it in my soul. I would not be the African on his side who is a protected class. I know I would not be part of the protected class, but I don't have to be either of those class. I'm an American. That's my reality. So I'm more rooting for whatever America is deciding. Number one. So even in the Russia Ukraine situation, uh, you know. So so when it comes to that, I think that they each should have their day. Each get their day. I think that it's so. I think they need the help. I think they. This opens up a whole nother conversation. If you don't want your, if okay, the South African president sounds like he doesn't really like the idea of white Africans feeling like they have to leave and people like they're being misled. And they said it's not even about the money. They said it's like, oh, by the way, America, you can keep your money. We're not changing a thing. And why are they leaving? And they even said, well, they'll want to come back. Trust and believe that. So it's like I have a feeling that the president of South Africa does not want white African farmers to leave. There, there it is. That's my spill. And that gives you a little bit more insight about me. Okay, so my mentor said, like, okay, what do psychics do? I know psychics, do psychic stuff, not just predict the future, read tarot cards. But what do they do for people? And they said, well, psychics pacify the masses. And so, as a person, which I took literal, so you have to consider all of humanity, even dark soul, even people of the dark soul. Now, my mentors would have called this person nasty, big nasty. Like, oh, that's a big nasty, meaning anybody who's operating in dark forces. A big nasty. That's what the big nasties. Oh, did you see the big nasties? There's about three of them from north, like 10 o'clock. Big nasty. So that's the way that they always viewed them, and I call them dark soul. So, and dark soul comes in like in it. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're Hawaiian, if you're Asian, you can find yourself in dark soul group because it's diverse. It is diversified. So yes, I can see myself in Dark Soul, as anyone can. Anyone can. So, today just happened to be those three. It just happens. It just so happens to be these three. So what it comes down to, well, obviously we're sending energy, right? Okay, who are you sending good energy to? The people who need it. Well, who needs it? The people who are in distraught, like Palestinian people, of course. At least send them energy. Please get them food. Please get them food. Please get them food. Please get them food. Right? Because I don't. Now I did say Hamas, right? It did the same thing Russia did, entering, Jerusalem, is Israel, and they shouldn't have done that. Just like Russia should not have entered into Ukraine like this. And I said this months ago. I said, Russia just want to put their boot on Ukraine because they could ask for anything They could ask for anything. They could go to any nation and just ask, "I'm Russian." If they wanted to, they probably could have asked anything that they wanted or a deal. They could have gone straight to the leaders of Ukraine and asked. No, they wanted to take. They just wanted to do it, and they don't even need it. They got more land, untapped resources. That's why it came out today. President was like, they can make a deal with us. Yeah, he's not interested in deals. He would have. He knows that he has privileges. He is best friends with China, with Xi, best buds. What do you mean? He could have anything under the sun for his people. No, they want to do this one thing, this act. They want to do the act of war. They want that. And it was, it was to take. That was the bottom line. It was to take. And he didn't want parts. He wanted the whole thing, and he still does. And that's kind of so many. I mean, if you have Africa saying that, you got he's saying that. Ukraine knows it. They're feeling that. True, true. The mathematic is true, true, true. The diagnostics is that means it's true. So that's who I'm praying for. That's who I'm sending energy to. But I'm also, of course, I'm sending energy. I'm like, of course, the energy is different. Is I hope that they like well, I think Hamas don't care. I don't believe they care about Palestinian people. So I don't think that Netanyahu can use Palestinian people as a bargaining chip because it's not going to work because Hamas doesn't care about that. They don't care about any of that. They will, in fact, any resources that comes through. I mean, you got all your answers. First of all, they're not getting any food to. They're not negotiating. A simple negotiation. Look, just give us our people back, and we'll give you all the food. And it's like nope. So they don't care about that. They're not going to negotiate to protect. They're not stepping in front of the people. Not sending soldiers over there like you have to come through us to get to them. They're not doing that. The other one is that any resources that comes through, Hamas is getting those, gets the majority of the resources. It's not even going to the people. Hamas is taking that resource for themselves to continue this war. So there you have it. So it's not about the people who are actually who actually they have ties to that land of Canaan, which is like 98%. Like in their blood, in their DNA, they are that is their home. It's like their habitat. It's like what they do when you take lions out of their habitat to save their species. Well, what happened with the lions that made them so scarce? Exactly. What Hamas and what Israel are doing right now? That's what made lions so scarce. Where they're like, well, we've got to take them out of their habitat and put them in another habitat, which they're saying they want to put up the Palestinians in Libya. By the way, Libya. If they told me that, and they the immigrants here who were going to be sent to Libya, the court said, no, you can't do that. They should be praying. If I were they, and I know what I know, I'd be falling on my knees. My knees would be bruised up from me being on my knees praying wherever I fell down, and thanking the lords of the heavens, the hosts of heavens, for not sending me to Libya. Libya is not. That is like, if you wanted to like really show your enemy, show a person like, I really don't like you, you would be saying, you have the power to do it. You say, I'm sending you to Libya, because Libya's is like they still make their maids stand in the corner, like, oh yeah, they still want, like, like servants and slaves and things, all of that stuff. Like talking with them, I bet would be like, it's like you're like talking to someone, any man or woman. It's funnier to say you're talking to a woman from the 1940s. It's like talking to a woman. Talking to you is like talking to a woman of the 1940s. But it's kind of funny to say it. I know it's mean, but you could be a man too. Man from the 1920s. Like, oh my gosh, it's like talking to you is like talking to someone from the 1920s, but you're from another country. So it's like they're by the way, um their I guess their populace, right, wants their government to step down, and so they definitely don't need a bunch of immigrants, let alone a million Palestinians. Like, what are you going to do with these people now? Well, there were immigrants, and they didn't treat them very well. They didn't treat them very well at all. They treated them. There's videos that had trended. Oh my gosh! Like, if that's the way they treat refugees, but they were refugees, not necessarily immigrants. They were refugees. I wouldn't want to ever be a refugee. Number one, have you ever been a refugee just in your city? Like, you needed to be taken in. You're not treated well, and you're expected to do things you thought you would. You told your mom, I would never do that. But yeah, if you come in as a refugee, you're expected to do all the things you told grandparents. I won't do that, Grandpa. I promise I won't. I would never do that. But that's exactly what you'd be expected to do. You come in as a refugee in your city, or across the state lines. If you ever had to, like, you ever say, I'm gonna go to the West, find out my American dream refugee from the Midwest. You go in there and you're expected, to do all those things that refugees do. If you, if you, unless I guess if you, hopefully if you can ride with trustworthy people. I was fortunate enough to arrive with. My manager asked for me to come there, but people always like was asking questions, testing the lines, see what strength they had. Like, oh, you can't take a joke, can you? I'm like, that's not a joke. You really want that, but I'm not in a position. You're not in a position to enforce that. I'm not in great need to offer you that. And it was like, okay, cool, cool. It's like, whoa, these are adult friendships. I'm like, no thanks. I'm good. I am very good. I can walk away from those. So, oh yeah, so if they treat refugees that way, you know, um, definitely you would imagine wouldn't want to come in as as a captured soldier. So, I don't see what they could do, what worse they could do to a captive soldier. They probably the captive the soldier who goes into captivity probably treated given safe refuge and food, in maybe better conditions than maybe someone who comes into Libya as a refugee. Because the refugee videos, those were horrific. They were like torture videos, to be honest. I mean, straightforward. I mean, that's all it was. This is screams. So then there's that, and then there's um, then so you're gonna bring in a million vulnerable, and also Palestinian in the Arab world. They're not looked upon as very nice. I hate to make this comparison, but it's like Palestinian as to Philippines, right? As to the Asian community. I hate saying it like that, but it's true. I mean, they say it, the world saw it. Hopefully, it's improved. And they're smart too, and beautiful. Palestinian people, the same, right? And so, but the Arab world do tend to look down on Palestinian. Like, oh yeah, they're always like they're the loud ones, like the classists. Oh, they can't be told. They find out the hard way. Like, you know, like yeah, that's not my yeah, that's like my cousin. So, um, yeah. So anyway, drop them off to Libya. Like, oh no, 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 no. The Bible doesn't say that. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible says, and Israel came among to live, and of course, side by side, the people of Canaan and the Canaanite in Canaan. This is, and also with them, the nations, which I'm going to talk about. Um, it's aligned with the tarot card, the Tower, from the book of Isaiah, and um, and basically, it's three groups of people that are addressed. See, the name is called Yahweh Elohim El. That's one name, or Elohim El, or Yahweh El. So Yahweh Elohim, or Elohim, or Yahweh, that's Israel. El is Canaan. Canaan is Semitic. Is so in other words is Israel. Especially when Israel enters into Canaan, all that becomes blessed and becomes Israel, part of Israel. Even if they don't come to live in Jerusalem, it's still Israel because it goes as far as the edge of mountains, as far as you can see, to the edge of land that runs into sea. All of this is the land of Israel, or the promised land, or Canaan. So even Lebanon is technically Canaan. All of that is, or Israel. And that's not even the problem. I mean, that's not even the issue. The issue is that people think the group of Israel is only meant for the Jews, and that's not what how the Bible describes the scene. The scene is that there are Israel in Moses' time came in with Arab people today, or Egyptian people. They were also were intermarried, and that's actually an entire chapter. And the most beautiful thing is, about it speaks to intermarriages, and also biracial. Does God have a problem with it? That whole the whole chapter 24, says, "Oh, you don't want to know the story. I'm not even going to talk about it, but I'm telling you, I'm going to share it because I found a video that was appalling. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. So there's a video, right? And the Bible is so specific. God is so specific. He says he says he specifically talks to he says the young men of Israel. Like there's Israel, then there's different ages, but then he would address the young men of Israel. The young men of Israel, they get rowdy, and you kind of like, become territorial, and also, racist, discriminating, all that. And so this young man who was as a young Israel, was just saying the most horrific things about a biracial child, a son of an Egyptian husband and an Israeli woman who were married, soon to enter into the land, the promised land together. So that's how we know that nations, because it also describes it in the next chapter over, how God is saying, don't think yourself above these nations. That's why you say, you remember the time you come from out of Egypt. He says you are lowered to their on par with the people of the nation. So neither they to be to rain on you, but you're not supposed to rain on them either. In other words, you're supposed to treat them as brethren. And also the Canaan, it talks about this is your brethren, this is your companion, this is your partner, using these very specific words. Of course, it's all written in Hebrew, it's the traditional language. So that means that, so, and also at times the Bible is talking up to Israel. There's times when it's talking to, oh, anyway, about the young man. The young man was bagging on this guy. Moses went and prayed to God, what do I do? And God instructed the church to pelt him. So that's what God thinks of biracial and interracial marriages. He's like, that's all my family. Keep going. So anyway, so when they enter into the land, he makes very specific commandments. He says, and if you break these commandments, you have to deal with him first. So what made me think of those passages, what, like, I wasn't gonna even bring it up, but so there's a young man and he's on the road and he's like just going off on this. Okay, so the husband, I'm pretty sure the husband of the woman is there, and other people, and he's like kind of like rushing her, like what do you call it, like Street Fighter, knee in the air, lunges at her, and she's, you know, he's like, she's moved all over the road and off the road and onto the hill, but this is somebody's grandmother, maybe a great grandmother these days. It's 2025, so maybe great grandmother, somebody's great aunt, and then the older man, and they're like trying to, and they're confronting him with spirit, not what can they do? They don't have the strength and the gumshoe. They don't have all that. The fortitude, the testicular. They definitely got the fortitude, pain through the strength through pain. They definitely got all the fortitude in the world by now. Fortitude, yes. Testicular fortitude, no, maybe not. Um, so like what? I mean, I know. See, the only thing I hate judging on this is because there's 8 billion people on the earth now. Of course, anything you can imagine, at least once time has happened. I know statisticians are like, well, that's only happened to like 43%. It's not even reached 50%. There's more people who are getting in fights, and not more like 60, 80 percentile, over alcohol. So so it's like, okay, like take one little issue and then like make it into a, you're like, oh my gosh, it's a pandemic. Oh my god. So I try not to fall into that trap and drive myself crazy, And I'm over here now wearing bandanas, watching my door, peeking out the window. I don't want to turn into that. So I'm like, but it makes for great, conversation, considering what, that, oh, this is actually written in the Bible. And so when people behave this way, it's like they can't say what they can say. Yeah, well, like why wouldn't this happen in front of like when you have like millions of people in one area in a situation like this? Why wouldn't that one occurrence happen? Of course, it's gonna happen. Then it's, well, they can't say that it's not written in the Bible though. Regardless if one person does it, if even if no people, if we didn't hear about any of it, the Bible does. It's unchanged. It's very clear, and that the Canaan people actually they live there more than just live there. They have DNA that traces them all the way back since the time that Israel even enters. Well, they would enter together, by the way. So it would have been Israel and Palestinian, or then Egyptian people. That's why Egypt, they're very much a part of the conversations to rebuilding, because this is their. The Bible always talks about the reconciliation of Egypt, and so Egypt is, which I already wrote that on Twitter. Egypt is reconciling. The reconciliation is taking place. Also, it's Egypt and Greece working together to assist in building Palestine, Gaza. So we always respect the leadership and all that, right? As God says to do. But we also, we hope that everything falls in the lines of the Bible. That but they say the Bible is prophecy. Well, the prophecy would definitely would say, um, rather than going to make home in Africa, Libya, whether it's South Africa or North Africa, that's not their home. Right where they are, that is their home. Anywhere as far as their eyes can see. If they were to go and join other Arab nations, like, well, particularly Libya, not Egypt, but Libya, not Libya, Lebanon, excuse me, Lebanon. They go to Lebanon. That's what I meant, not Libya. Lebanon. I meant to say, anytime I'm Lebanon is Israel, not the other one. Lebanon. If they were to go to Lebanon, that would be okay. That's just like changing neighborhoods. So they go to Lebanon. But although Egypt and Greece specifically want to help in the reconstructing of Gaza, and that's a great idea, and that they stay there, but they at least like, well, we want to divide your population, at least send 1 million and send them there to Libya, and now that's African, although North Africa, which is that's okay. I can stop there. Anyway, there you go. Well, it's a pleasure. Donald here. Okay, sure. Christina, welcome. Hi. A pleasure. Uh oh. Okay, unravel. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your body's rejecting everything that he said. He's yeah. Your body put up is now defend. It can now defend herself and is rejecting all of that. Those things of the gaslighting he used to do that he tried to do it this time. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. Right. Yes, absolutely. Right. So back in the day, you would have gone deep within and you would have embraced the reality that was known to you at the time. Now you can embrace the reality that's born to you this time. So it's like taking a walk and you're connecting with the real reality, your reality, and you're looking at it at the other one, and you're able to rationalize. Okay, he has every right to think what he's thinking, but it doesn't make him right, and you now have the power to say that. Mm-hmm. 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 Your body's rejecting that. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. The thing now is that you have the knowledge now. You have the that happens to us when we're not absolutely knowledgeable about where we are. But now you are, because that's the only reality you knew. You know other realities, and you know how to put those two realities side by side, and you know what makes sense. You know what he's saying. It's not. It's and besides, the readings always said that he would behave that way, that he would always to the very bitter end say no, she's gonna make it through, she's gonna get through this, and you know in your heart that you're right, that she's not gonna get out of this squeaky clean. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Why would it go on so long and drag itself out if she was so if she if it was absolutely nothing that she did that would keep what is keeping her in that seat? That's because they need her to get the bigger fish, because they know she knows things, and it's more than, well, she like naively knows things, like she's aware, but she doesn't know what they're doing and what it's all for, because they believe, no, she does know. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Okay. Right. Mm. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Right. Yes. See, and this is things that you know, like things you know. See, that's another thing about psychic experiences and readings. Sometimes you enter into like real realities, and the people who this is built around, they are having a very real life experience themselves, and they're not ready for another reality to come crashing in. That's why, like, it was almost like a great shock, like from like you said your ex's reaction, like he's hearing, like he's in shock. Not, I mean, I know it surprised you as well, but he was in shock. No, I mean contrary information. Like he has his reality. No, she's innocent. Now that something like you coming in and you're disrupting his reality, and he's like, no, actually, you'll see it'll all play out when it all comes turned to the front. You'll see she's innocent. This is how business is done, and you're like, I've seen this play out already. Like, and it's surprising, and then you realize, oh my gosh. And also, the part where you said these people have been extremely clever. Didn't we say that she was so clever that she came in, and she come in as legit, gorgeous and all this, appeals to your ex, and then he takes to her, and everybody, and he's like, no, her, I mean, everything is laid out, and she can carry on this. Remember saying she can carry on this way for years, under the radar, like she's good, like under the years, and not even, if this wouldn't have come up, your husband would not even never have known anything about this situation, that there was an issue. He wouldn't have. She wouldn't have. He would never have found out. He only found out because the courts are illuminating it, and so he believes everything. Also, she's telling him. Hmm. Oh, she's only telling him that, like, she always covers it up and wipes it down. She doesn't tell him any dirt. She doesn't tell him, oh, I got mixed up with these people, and no, 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 it was nothing like that. She always paint herself. They said that she would paint herself to your husband, or excuse me, your ex-husband, as a clean business. Mm-hmm. Mm. See, that's the thing about knowing information before others, or knowing information or having insights that others don't have. We kind of have to accept that the other person, and they have who's also having a very real life experience, may not be willing to accept our knowledge, our newfound, whether it's a newfound knowledge or an old knowledge. A lot of this that you're talking about today is old knowledge. We've known this for a long while, like how this would play out, and we also have to accept, like, what plays out before us. We're equally shocked. Like, this is playing out, and we would have hoped for something, like he would have gotten it, but sadly, not everybody embraces and accepts, you know, that outside information. Your information, as sound as it is, It makes sense when you really think about it, but he doesn't want his reality disturbed. He sees it as a threat, and he's most likely to try and brush it off or play it down or something like that. Mm. You know something he doesn't know. Mm. But don't take it personal. You're right. You are correct at the end of the day. It is going to play out. Remember, he's got to see it play out before his eyes, and still his eyes. He's still going to be wiping his eyes out, because, like you said, the courts are going to uncover the truth. So even as the courts is telling him this is what it is, he's still your ex is still going to say, ah, no, I don't believe that. That may be what you decided, but I don't believe it. Hmm. The only again, sure, I'm a little bit ahead. Let me back up. So okay, so let's say that he at least hears what the courts say. Of course, in my vision, they describe him sitting in the courts, listening to the verdicts. Right, everything that's being said, it's getting reaching back to him. It's getting back to him some way. Even if he's like looking it up, she's only going to tell him. She's only going to tell him good parts. So like make it like, oh yeah, I'm winning. I'm definitely winning. But even like, but he knows. Only reason why he says you're probably here to tell me that it didn't go so well today. What made him say that? Imagine it. The only reason why he would say it went bad today is because the courts made it very like you cannot deny like right what your eyes tell you. That's how I get people. I say, right, you will always have the ability to see what's in the courts, right? You always have that ability to see, and then it plays out before one's eyes. Okay, you gotta get back to work. Okay, well we could talk about this later. All right. Whew. She didn't even want to believe it. See, that's the thing about being a psychic. I know things, and then I pass it on to her. She didn't want to. She's like, okay, it's happening. So she goes and tries to. She's like, she's okay. So she's taking the psychic information and telling them, her ex husband, who's involved with a Russian woman, and this is like a big case going on over there. It's a big case, huge, massive. Like this, and it's about money laundering. It's like very rare that things happen. So she's over there. She's like, okay, I got to put my wards and shields. Donald here. And she wants to finish her reading. Fantastic. Yes. So yes. So I was right in the middle of a conversation. So okay. So let me answer your question. So what I was saying is that your ex, right, your husband, he is in the ex husband. He's in the middle of the course, and the only reason why he asks is that it's not me asking you, but he's asking. He says, I bet you're just here to basically gloat that this today didn't go so well. It was pretty bad. Only reason, so my point is this: the only reason why he believes that, because had he not been told that or shown that, of course, the source has to come from the courts. That's the only reason why he even acknowledges it. Otherwise, he will not acknowledge any of this, unless the courts put it right in front of his eyes. And even if it now, back to my reading, even as they're showing him, look, it is not good over here. You're not winning. He's still going to believe that she has a chance, like she is winning, and even if they say, look, they vote against her, they vote her down. Your ex-husband is going to be like, they voted wrong. They voted wrong. They just voted against her. They just needed something. So he's always, that's what you're going to be dealing with. And we have to just kind of accept that from his side. But it doesn't change, your reading. That doesn't change the facts that this all is catching up to her. Mm, mm, right. Oh, got you. Okay. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Mhm. Yes. Yes. And yes, exactly. That's why I always tell people psychic readings are not for brainstorming to write movies and books. People do it though. People call in and want to bounce ideas, book ideas, and movie script ideas off of me and stuff and create characters with me. But people's lives are real and they don't fit. Humans do not follow any books. They don't. They always work off script. Like he's not going by the perfect script that he should go by. He should follow that script and not stray from it too far. But it's like he's breaking all the rules of script. That's what people, real humans do. That's why psychic readings always make the worst source to getting things to write about. It never works out because here he is, his human nature rather than his, well, what about his, his identity, his stature in life, he's got his good name, but his human side is saying, I really want this woman in my life and I want her to be innocent and I'm going to try to change her fate. I will do whatever it takes, and then of course he may not get what he, well, according to the reading, it's not going to be favorable for him, because if it's not favorable for her, the only way it'd be favorable for him is she's proven innocent in some way. But that's not the direction it's going. He's gonna be so crushed. Mm-hmm. Right. You got it. Good. Good. That's what we're working. We're working to clear this energy out. You're just acknowledging your true self, and your true self is right, and your truth provides the energy and safety you need and the groundedness. You're able to challenge his voice. His voice inside is not, that voice is not your own. And that voice you can now turn off or and put outside of yourself, that vibration. Mm-hmm. Only vibrations are left are your own. The only inner voice that you hear is your own. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I sure am. For you, yes. Okay. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, you told me that. You said that from your heart. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. A pleasure. Will do. We certainly will. Okay. Look for you. Okay. Love. people in court. This situation has been going on for a while. I'm more caught up in this than I am with anything else going on with high profile people. Yeah, this is very high pro. Well, he's the ex husband is high profile, and of course the woman who's Russian, she's high profile in all of this, and a lot of like money laundering, a lot of stuff, racketeering. They're trying to bust. They're not get the big one, and like this is something that's like something like this hadn't happened in a long time. So it's like so it's kind of exciting. Well, it's happening to my client who's very she can become high energy. She's high interest, high. She's intellectual. She's all up in the. She thrives in the corporate spaces, loves it, right? And so this has her worked up because this woman is also like close. Well, not so much as ex husband, she also has two children. And she's like, so as you get over the barrier, like, does my children like her? It's like she has a daughter and a son. The son just graduated, and the daughter is um, like post graduation. He's all the son's already going on is already in, off to college, the whole college dorm thing. Mm. Yes, it's a lot there. And then here you have this woman, and she's like in the biggest case and all for the past over the past decade of you know being a part of this group, and that screaming mafia, making one business seem legit to cover up other types of businesses and startups. And so yeah, and of course the woman is pretending like how was I supposed? Hey, I would just work there. You have to just she has to cross the eyes. Like I can't no eye contact. Well, I just worked there. I mean, I just did the very best I could. It's like, can you look me in my eye and say that? Like, mm, I just worked there. I did, in fact, set up a company, but there was something that I wanted to do my whole life. Oh, my client has a lot of information, like months in advance information before this even became a thing, before they even started going to court. So she gets hyped up, especially as the things start to unfold and play out and dance before her. She's like a Job. Job was shown all the universe, how the universe works, the nature of humanity, like what great lengths humanity men will go, to divide and conquer and all that, and infrastructure, how to establish infrastructure to protect oneself. So she's like a Job, and she's like, wow, I gotta go tell someone. And she's like making sure she's not going insane. I'm like, no, you're not going insane. So we're just working on clearing energy. Oh, and one thing I also noticed, I have to be very cautious because sometimes I be feeling like they trying to. Okay, I'm the one that have the degree. I'm the one that knows how to guide people into healing. As soon as I feel like they're trying to, like they're like when healing is taking place, they're trying to get involved. They're trying to get involved with the so that's why I was like putting up the wards and shields. I was like, no, I don't want to hear you. This is not a talk show. That means all of that that makes me so infuriated. Like I don't care. That's like I'm not interested in the books you're writing. I don't care about the blogs you're writing. You're not even gonna write it. They're not gonna even write it properly anyway. And because like, what do they know about metaphysical healing? And then like to trying to gauge in our process is no. I don't ask how you're able to connect us. Where we can talk from. She's in another country. I'm in this country. I don't ask like how you uh, do the whole money thing. Like, okay, how do you compensate? I don't ask that. I stay out of all that. Like, stay out. Let me do what I do. My side is what my side, and I don't want to let you in on it. They definitely do not let me in on their thing. So I always make sure, like I don't share, I don't teach, I don't welcome in, I don't come in pushing their buttons on there. I don't hop on their computers. They they usher me out, right, forcefully. So I don't let them come in and say, okay, well, come in and looking at my. No, no. I would be over here like popping hands. Well, anyways, and my client, they're catching on. She contacted me, and now she's making me come on. Like another client did the same thing, contacted me. You gonna come in tomorrow? Okay, I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow. You come in. You gonna be tomorrow? You come in tomorrow? I need you. I'm like, okay, okay. I'll be here tomorrow. For you, yes. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. So, I can't wait till I start working with you all. What? You still strong? That's great. Awesome. Yes, you gotta stay protected. You gotta. Yes, I do protect the clients. I gotta protect people who I work with. And the way I can do that is definitely protecting self. Protecting the self. Got like a few hours in. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get better at this, people. Like coming in live, um, and working with you all as well. But I know that I cannot unsee the jealousy of if people are want you know. 'Cause I do 1,000% believe that people want to be gods, like earth gods, and like gurus. And so, like, people, like, if they start paying attention, like, they're trying to talk to you, or what? What? You're the guru? Wait a minute. You work under our famous psychics. What are you doing being called a guru? And sometimes, like, people will call and they're like, I received emails and it was from, like, people who I work. They say, because I work under five, so whichever the psychic that who they favor, they'll say, well, you work under so and so, so you know, can you make sense of it? I'm like, but I know how to do it so nice. I'm like, well, I kind of like work it into. Like, I create an act, okay? I work it into the conversation, and then I start like guiding them into, where the reading is, where the answers are from the spirit. So, but it gets crazy when they say, "Well, I contacted so and so, you know, who's more powerful than you, right?" And they said this, like that's after I've said, "Well, this is what I see for it," and then mine comes up right, and they know, like I don't know everybody's names, but these people, they're the clients. They have big money. They are like they're famous in their own right, right? And they're running awards that I said that they would win, all kind like things like that. And well, they know all these people behind the scenes, and so they're like talking to me like we, and I'm like, I don't have a clue. And they're like, yeah, well, I sent you a whole letter. Well, I sent the letter to them, and I told them to send it to you, and I'm over here pretending like they sent it to me. So it's like read it. I was like, oh, I don't think I can say is, well, I guess they read it and reaped. I did not reap any of the rewards. Trust me. so 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 I'm definitely dominant. dominating and trying. Of course, I gotta always keep myself in check. Of course, don't be a guru, don't be a god, don't be a demigod, and don't be an earth god. Stay away from all those. Don't let people worship. Nothing like that. Just you know, be gracious and graciously. Well, I think you're fascinating. I think you're amazing. So that's what I do. And I shouldn't have all those things, by the way. But I get where they're coming from. They're just like it's like if they've gone through most of life and it's been pretty mundane, and now their life they're starting to see color for the very first time. It's they're happy. And then of course their even the members you read in their family are exactly what was asked or what I guess universe promised, and they get it, and then they have reasons to be proud and happy for loved ones, and their friends and peers are looking at them differently. Like they used to look at them like, "There's Betty." Now they're looking at me like, "Betty, whoa! So how did you pull it off?" And they're like, they're the star of their own movie. They're the star of the. It's like a movie, but now they're the star of their own movie. They're the protagonist, and they are the star indeed. They are the star. So I think I can stop right there for a second. Or do I want to, or do I need to stay? What day is it? Okay. So okay, I'm gonna stop right here, and I'll come back. Please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you have questions, like how to have a reading, I'm still working on that to get readings for you all so I can be more attentive to you all. I haven't arrived to the place where I'm reading for you all like online or something, but we're getting there. I promise you, I've not forgotten why I wanted to do this on my YouTube. I want to get to a place where I'm doing readings with you all and or people who come through. So yeah, I did get a little busy, and then of course then I start talking. So and when I start talking, telling stories, I like to know every little detail. So I talk to you about every little thing that's going on. I've only just accumulated 100 videos, and I've like been on YouTube for like since forever. So if you don't believe me, like check the date. Yeah, I'm just now reaching 100 videos, so I'm still learning. Um, but I would love to work with people questions in YouTube, even if it's for like fun questions. Like these are pretty serious, like highly advanced, and you got to be very technical, and you got to say it in a very unique way because people they monitor our calls. Um, so I'm trying the same wonderful quality that these clients are getting. I want to transfer that same quality and demand for my YouTube channel. I wanted to provide the same quality. This like for this to be the standard. Like the standard is top notch, interaction, between the two of us. I'm hoping that I get there. I'm working on it. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for hanging out with me and spending time with me for a little bit. And we will talk again soon. We will speak again. I assure you.